I still play Keqing now in 2026. She's strong? No. To be honest, she's far from a decent choice for endgame content. But strength is not everything. I've been playing Keqing for years simply because I like her. And since you are here, maybe you like Keqing too. This is my first time doing a guide, so if there's any mistake, just comment below. We all know that Keqing is a really old DPS from 1.0, and in case you forgot or you are a newbie, I will do a summary. Let's look back at how her team options changed. In 1.0 versions, we had an electrocharge team with Xingqiu, Fischl or Beidou, then Sucrose or Kazuha, or a sustain like Bennett or Zhongli. And also remember that every time I mention Bennett, I don't mean C6 Bennett because that constellation overrides Keqing's attacks. Zhongli and Albedo Geo duo was really strong back then, so we also had Zhongli Albedo and one flex slot. Or you can put her in national team with Xiangling, Xingqiu, and Bennett. The artifact choices back then we had mixed set with attack and electro, or 4 pieces sets of Thunderstoofer or Thundering Fury. Even Heart of Death is usable for 30% normal attack and charge attack damage, but not a good option. People even built physical Keqing and put cryo characters like Diona or Rosaria. This build started well at first and became meta for a while before physical damage in general fell off. The artifacts you used in this build were Bloodstained Chivalry and Pale Flame. Starting from 2-point versions, we could run the Electro Hypercarry team with Sarah, ideally C6 Sarah, then Kazuha and Bennett. This pretty much Raiden Hypercarry at home. We also got introduced to new options for her electrocharge team such as Yamiko or Yelan for DPS and Kokomi or Kukishinobu for sustain. Then we got new artifacts option, which is Shimenawa Reminiscent. The 3-point versions were revolutionary for Keqing since she benefits a lot from Dendro and its new elemental reactions. For Quickbloom, we had Nahida or Kale or Baizu, and Yelan or Kokomi or Xingqiu, and then Fischl or Kuki or Yae. For Aggravate, we had Sucrose or Kazuha or Zhongli instead of the Hydro slot in the above team. And in this team, you would want to use the new artifact set Gilded Dreams. Desert Pavilion or Flower of Paradise Lost were also usable options, but they were too niche to recommend. In the 4-point versions, Keqing got some new interesting teams. Xianyun let you play Plunge Keqing. An example team should be Keqing, Xianyun, Farina, and Bennett. Chivalrous made Overlord Keqing a pretty much competitive option. This team includes Chef, Xiangling, and Fischl. Burn was also an option when Emily released. You could play Emily plus 1 Pyro plus 1 Flex slot, and you can use Unfinished Reverie artifact on Keqing in this team. The most notable thing in 4-point is that Farina became an OP Hydro option and allowed Keqing to use Marichashi Hunter artifact with a huge 36% crit rate bonus. Moving on to 5-point versions, we got introduced to Shilonen, an all-rounder support, and she made Electrocharge and Hypercarry team much stronger. There was also this premium overloaded team that you can still use it now, including Keqing, Mavuika, Yansan, or Ororon, and Chivius. And yes, this is a Varesa team if you wonder. And now, the current 6-point versions, we have Luna teams with Keqing, Columbina or Aino, Sucrose or Shilonen or Lauma, or any Dendro, then Fischl or Enefa. And if the moon sign of the team is at level 2, you can use Night of the Skies Unveiling as a driver. Hexerei is also a really good option. For example, I have this Hexerei overloaded team with Keqing, During Official, Nicole, and Fischl or Chef or Shilonen. We are getting the new reaction Stellar Conduct along with Sandroni and some other characters rework, but I'm not so sure if Keqing can benefit from it. About talent priority, I would go with normal attack, then burst, and then skill. A friendly note is that most of Keqing's damage comes from charge attack, but every time you cast charge attack, she knocks smaller enemies away and then steps back. To reduce this, you can press forward and do jump cancel, or you will have to dash forward and lose more stamina. You also don't have to do this against big enemies or bosses, since her first hit of the normal attack already leans forward. Keqing's constellations are not really important since they are really badly designed, and I would consider that one of the worst constellation of any character ever created in the game. I mean, it does increase her damage, but not much though, so yeah, not really important. Keqing's weapon choice, 5 star, I would recommend Miss Glitter, which is her best weapon since 2.0 and now it is still the best one. If you don't have it, you can just use any 5-star weapon with crit like J Cutter or Yuraku Misugiri. Or maybe you can even use Freedom Sworn if you are running an Aggravate or Quickbloom comp. For 4-star, you can use Woodfang, Lance Raw, Finale of the Deep, but you will need a healer for this. Or use Iron Sting or Tokubo Shiger for Aggravate or Quickbloom comp. Or if you have a shield character, you can use Calamity of Eshu. For artifacts, I would say Keqing has lots of artifact options and I can just list them all for you. But if you just started building Keqing now, I would say it is not really worth farming all in only for Keqing. So I would want to compare the domains. Let's see which of them are worth farming to save your resources. First of all, Thundering Fury. I would say this is the best and it works in many cases. The domain also comes with another set which is the Thunder Silver. It is really strong but depends heavily on Electro Aura uptime. So this domain lets you farm 2 of the best sets for Keqing at the same time. But I won't say it is resin efficient because currently only Keqing use this set. Next one is the Marichoshi Hunter set. This set requires Furina, but it will give you 36% crit rate, so it is much easier to build. But the other set of the domain is the Golden Troop. I mean, you can use this set on Furina, it is really good, but not a majority of the character you would want to use this set, so I would say this is pretty niche. Now let's go to Shimanawa Reminiscent and Gilded Dreams. I would rate these 2 domains at the same priority. They are really worth farming because the other set of the domain has really high value. So now, Shimanawa Reminiscent, this set is normal attack and charge attack damage oriented. Even though it reduces your energy, but Keqing recharges really fast, so you don't have to worry about not being able to cast your elemental burst. The other set of the domain is the emblem set, which is really good. It has high value and can be used widely because like many characters can use it. For Gilded Dreams, this is a very strong option for Aggravate or Hyperbloom playstyle. And the other set is Deepwood, which is really good because when you play Aggravate or Hyperbloom, you will always have a Dendro character in your team, and this will help you to also build your support in one go. And the last one is the Night of the Skies Unveiling. This can be the best set if you play Lunar reactions, especially with Columbina and or Inifa. This is because Keqing wants to be doing a majority of the team's total damage, so we will run her as an on-field driver. The 4 set effect gives a huge boost to total team damage, while Keqing doesn't lose much damage as she also gets 30% crit rate. It will make her easier to build, and also I would say this domain is the best currently if you are following the Lunar meta because the other set is also very good and you always want one of this set in your Lunar team. Let's go to artifact stats. For main stat of the Sands, you would want attack or EM. Goblet, you would want electro or attack. Circlet, you would want crit, but I would prioritize the crit rate over crit damage. The raw crit rate should be about 70 to 75% if you're not using Marichoshi or Night Sky. But if you are using any of those sets, you would want to prioritize crit damage circlet over crit rate, and the raw crit rate should be about 45 to 50%. The substat would be crit over attack percentage or EM, and remember that you only take EM if it is usable. To wrap everything up, I had made these 2 infographics, and I hope they are helpful since I believe they have include like mostly everything I have said in this video. That should be everything. Just keep it in mind that Keqing is a really old DPS with low scaling. She can still clear overworld content just fine. But if you lack strong support or need a strong DPS to carry you through endgame contents, then Keqing may not be a great choice since she either wants your support to give a ton of buffs or do a ton of damage. Thanks for watching. If you find the video helpful and want to support me, just hit like and subscribe. Goodbye and see you in the next video.